game. Watch Tim Hardaway. Hardaway, no. Rebound, New York. And fists are flying at the other end. Alonzo Mourning throws the first punch. Well, there's one right there, and that's what got it going. And then the push back, and then there's the punch. Fortunately for these guys, they are both awful fighters.
The late 1990s were a war zone. Not in politics, not in the streets, but in the paint. Every spring, the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat would meet in the playoffs, and it wasn't basketball as much as it was trench warfare. Low scoring, blood pressure rising, every possession a fistfight. If you liked defense, you called it gritty. If you didn't, you called it unwatchable. And one man, Jerry Colangelo, longtime NBA executive, decided it couldn't go on like this. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It is dearly appreciated. Colangelo, by then an NBA lifer since the 60s, reportedly said, "Who wants to watch grown men beat on each other for 48 minutes? The NBA is in the entertainment business." That was the spark. The league's power brokers looked around and realized the game had slowed to a crawl. Elbows had replaced artistry. And as TV ratings dipped after Michael Jordan's retirement, the NBA needed something new. So began a quiet revolution, one that would open the floor, change the rules, and turn basketball from a slugfest into a spectacle. Colangelo and his peers didn't want to destroy the league's toughness. They wanted to free its creativity. They began rolling out rule changes, less hand-checking, more freedom of movement. Defensive 3 seconds to unclog the paint. The mission was clear: make the NBA faster, flashier, and more fan-friendly. But if the 90s had the Knicks and Heat grinding you into dust, who would lead the league into the light? While most of the league was busy wrestling, a team in California was dancing. The Sacramento Kings weren't just winning, they were entertaining. Jason Williams, the white-haired wizard, was redefining point guard play with behind-the-back lasers and no-look sorcery. Chris Webber was dunking everything in sight. And fans, for the first time in years, were smiling. Hawks GM Pete Babcock said after every game, "I'd get home, turn on League Pass, and look for a Sacramento game. They were the most fun team to watch." New Jersey coach Don Casey called it loosey-goosey basketball. To others, it was Showtime reborn. Conquered speed offense, laser precision passing. It felt like Magic Johnson's Lakers, only louder, flashier, and somehow riskier. The contrast couldn't be sharper. The NBA's top teams still lived in the mud. The Spurs with twin towers, the Bulls with suffocating defense, the Rockets with post-up clinics from Hakeem and Barkley. Half-court basketball was still the rule, not the exception. But a rebellion was brewing. Isaiah Thomas said it bluntly: "There is really no early offense anymore. Everything is out of sets." McHale, like a Celtics legend who knew a thing or two about running the floor, hated it even more. He said, "There's a conservatism that's crept in. It's somehow nobler to lose 79-75 than to lose 115-107. But that's not basketball. Basketball is offense, it's movement, it's fun." The NBA heard them loud and clear. By the early 2000s, a new set of rules began to reshape the sport. No more forearm checking above the free throw line, less holding on drives. Defenses had to react faster, or get left behind. Suddenly, guards like Allen Iverson, Jason Kidd, and Penny Hardaway had open lanes, and teams began running again, like it was the 1980s all over. As Rod Thorne, the NBA's VP of operations, said, "Of the 29 teams, 25 run basically the same sets. We're hoping this forces creativity." It was an invitation, a call to play differently, and no one answered that call louder than the Sacramento Kings. Coach Rick Adelman, GM Jeff Petrie, and assistant Pete Carrill, the mind behind Princeton's legendary motion offense, built a team that was pure rhythm. The Kings didn't just play basketball, they sang it. Pass, cut, pass again. Weber at the elbow, Peja curling off screens, Vlade Divac throwing touch passes that would make Jokic blush. Even David Stern, the commissioner himself, was a fan. He said, "They're the prototype of the team of the millennium." Sacramento went from TV outcast to must-see TV, 20 national games in one season. They even opened the year in Japan, showcasing their style to the world. The ripple effect was immediate. Atlanta traded for Isaiah Ryder and Jimmy Jackson to speed things up. Houston added Steve Francis and Shandon Anderson to inject youth and movement. Even Portland, with its chaos of talent, began experimenting with small ball lineups that could either pound you inside or outrun you down the court. As Rudy Tomjanovich said, with less contact, the league is trying to promote attacking, driving basketball, and we're going to exploit that. A new age was dawning, but not everyone was on board. Phil Jackson, newly in Los Angeles, wasn't convinced. He brought the triangle offense west. Structured, deliberate, unhurried. "I don't see the running game coming back," he said. "There are too many stops, too many commercials. Basketball can't flow when you have 20 whistles a game." He wasn't wrong. The early 2000s became a tug of war. Pace versus control, flash versus fundamentals, and for a while the slow team still won. Shaq and Kobe's Lakers, Duncan's Spurs. Championships built not on speed but precision. Even if the Kings never won it all, they changed everything. Their 2002 playoff run, capped by that infamous series against the Lakers, was a turning point. They proved that style could compete with substance, that joy could win games. As Jeff Petrie said, "Pure physical strength isn't a basketball skill. What we've done is put a higher emphasis on actual skills." That philosophy lived on in the Spurs' beautiful game, in Mike D'Antoni's 7 seconds or less Suns, and finally in the Warriors' dynasty of motion, spacing, and skill. All of it traces back to Sacramento. Fast forward to today, the floor is wider, the shots are deeper. The talent pool, from LeBron to Wemby, has never been brighter. But maybe the pendulum swung too far. Games now can feel like glorified shooting contests, possession after possession of step-backs and missed threes. Defense, once the league's backbone, sometimes looks optional. It's the best of times, worst of times that Colangelo once imagined. A league of beauty and imbalance. Still, the legacy of that shift, from bruises to ball movement, can't be overstated. The Knicks and Heat taught the league what not to be. The Kings showed what it could be. And every modern highlight, every no-look dime, every fast break dunk, every 140-point explosion owes a debt to the team that dared to run when everyone else was crawling. In a way, basketball didn't just evolve. It remembered what it was always supposed to be. Art in motion, from the concrete brawls of the 90s to the choreography of today's NBA. This is the story of how the game saved itself, by learning to move again. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this change in the league.